Okay, I gotta tell you, I'm just horsing around with this because Nuri told me that the best thing that I could use to record myself is my phone. Now, I've got all this Nikon camera that takes all these wonderful pictures, and here I am getting used to being on camera on my phone. This is all so very, very interesting to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm loving the experience relative to the feedback that I'm getting as I post on Instagram. Who knew that I would come full circle in photography? Because as you can see behind me, you see these corner samples, which tells you that I'm a picture framer, of course. However, interesting to note that before picture framing, there was, in fact, photography. I was working in a photography studio in Atlanta, and they genuinely wanted to teach me how to frame pictures. Excuse me, no, how to become a great photographer. I wasn't interested, however. So I dismissed it. And in the meantime, I met the man who would ultimately change my life because he would pass by the photography studio on his way to get coffee, and he would stop in and chit-chat, and he was a little on the fresh side, but he was so charming that I wasn't offended. Long story short, the photography studio ended up closing suddenly. And my newfound friend wanted to know, what are you going to do? I don't know. So he suggested that I come see him. And I thought, oh boy, I know what he wants. But then 2 weeks later, still no job. I went to see him, and the rest is history. So here we are, almost 50 years later, as a picture framer, when there is a need to pick up a camera to document a collection. It didn't have to be anything professional, it just needed to be documented. So I went out and purchased a point and shoot. And I was here in New York City. And when I wasn't documenting this collection, I would take a break and go out and walk around the city and take pictures. And I was just taking them and looking at them in a slideshow for my own appreciation, when a very dear friend said to me, you really should share these. And another friend said, you really should get on Instagram. And I'm like, oh, with the social media. However, he hijacked my phone and he placed Instagram on it. I'm thankful for that because it has opened up a whole new world of possibility. And no, my focus is not photography. It's acting. However, photography is another gift that I've been given. So it only makes sense that I use my photography to take me where I want to go. And there's no saying that I can't work on both sides of the camera. I'm okay with that. I'm also okay with finding myself in a situation where there's someone who has the ability to sponsor someone like myself with the necessary equipment and the ability to travel the world to be able to take pictures, since I do it so well. It's taken me a long time to be able to say that. You notice how quiet my voice got when I said, since I take them so well. You know, I got real quiet on that. I'm learning to brag. If I don't toot my horn, nobody else is going to toot it for me. It just feels so weird, though. And it's also the piece about the necessity to become really comfortable on camera. I think as humans, we have a tendency to somehow behave differently when there's a camera that's aimed at us. And the challenge, of course, is to remain organic and in the moment, and most importantly, to be yourself. You can't be somebody else, so just be yourself and be in the moment. course, that takes me to thinking about acting. That's always something in acting classes that is key. I don't care what you're working on, it's key. Whether it's movement, whether it's voice, whether it's theater history, whether it's production, whether it's casting, it's all about being in the moment. And for me, at the end of the day, what I walk away with is that it doesn't really matter whether you're pursuing acting as a career or not. If you're studying acting, you are seriously enriching the quality and understanding of the life you live on a day-to-day basis, because it asks you to invoke all of your senses, to be present in all of your senses, to use all of your senses. And that's a wonderful thing. And I think that I now have gotten to the point where I'm going to start saying things like and like and well, you know, and that's something else that it's necessary to work on, because as an actor, vocabulary is key. And it's not as if I don't have a wonderful vocabulary. As a matter of fact, someone said something to me on the train the other day about how pleased he was to see someone working a crossword puzzle because he's so used to seeing people being on their phones. So we began a conversation about that, and he was asking me, where'd you get that? So I pulled out the back page of the crossword puzzle book and handed it to him, because it's a puzzle that comes out of Star Magazine. And they're good-sized puzzles, and you can buy them in a book. And one book of probably 30 puzzles is the same price that the Star Magazine is on the rack weekly, except that the other information besides the crossword puzzle isn't worth reading because it's all gossip, and it's probably not true anyway. Okay, I'm done. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for spending this time with me and letting me ramble on. And until I next am in front of this camera, be well. And I wish you every cause for happiness. Take care, and thank you for being your wonderful self. Bye-bye.